Hello guys, my name is Annette and this channel is dedicated to all the things I love and care about, and today's video is all about the 3 most important components for a happy, balanced, and long-term relationship. Now, this is based off the countless of readings that I've done over the years and my own experiences over the past 13, 14 years or so. So the 3 most important components for a happy, balance, and for a relationship to last is communication, love language compatibility, and for there to be space for growth. If you got these 3 things in your partnership, in your union, well, let me congratulate you, and you're killing it, man. It'll make your relationship very happy, and I can almost guarantee you're very fulfilled. However, if you're with someone and you lack these 3 things, I can almost guarantee you're unhappy. It's nothing but problems, it's nothing but challenges, or it probably didn't even last that long for you to really take things to the next level. So let's get to it. The first most important component in anything is always communication. Communication is so important. Why? Simply put, because if you guys have good communication, compatible communication styles, you guys will be in the same page, in the same reality. When 2 people that have very opposite communication styles, what ends up happening is you end up being in scenarios where these 2 individuals are legit in different realities. They're saying things and they're both good nature and they both have a good heart, but their styles are so opposite and so different. You end up literally like they're just in 2 different universes, 2 different freaking realities, and they're trying to like make things work, and they're it's like well-meaning, but it's just they can't understand each other. They can't be in the same page. It will make things very difficult. It'll make it to the point where you guys are only like happy once in a blue moon. And people stay together in relationships of this nature because there's love, or because they have butterflies for each other, or for a million other reasons. But when the communication is so bad, it just makes it for very difficult and challenging and very not that fulfilling relationship. And let me show you another example. We can have somebody here who's a talkative type, the expressive type, and then we can have somebody over here who's more like the reserved type, who likes to use the words more so just if it's actually needed. Now, we have these 2 people come together for a union. I'm not saying you guys are doomed, it's done deal, it's over. No, all I'm saying is that if these 2 people come together for a union, they will both have to be open-minded to kind of sort of meet each other in the middle, and both of them to be open-minded to kind of like pull back a little bit. One of them has to pull back a little bit when it comes to communication, and then the other one has to like pull forward more, become more open, or become a little bit more talkative or more expressive, even if that makes he or she out of his comfort zone. So it's not a deal breaker. When it is a deal breaker is when parties aren't willing, when parties don't talk about it or kind of figure this early on and are not open-minded or willing to kind of like, all right, let me give a little bit more, let me pull a little bit more, because that's what you need, you know? So that's when it can work, and then that's when it can also not work, you know? It just depends on the people in the relationship, if they're willing to like give a little more, pull a little bit more back. It just depends. But communication, hands down, is the most important component, just because it'll help make your partner feel like you guys see each other, you guys understand each other, and ultimately the window to intimacy, the window for you guys, for like a partnership to feel very connected, a lot of it has to do with communication. And communication is not always necessarily talking. Sometimes even when you don't use words, you can just write them, or you use other things like your body language to communicate. It's all these little components that make the other person feel like connected to you and feel like you understand them, and that creates intimacy. At the core, at the basis for relationships to last long term, or for someone to be very fulfilled in a union, is intimacy. And that is just one of the very core basic things that make happy unions, like commitments and that sort of deal. Intimacy and communication go hand in hand, and for a plethora of other things, you know. If you guys have trouble communicating with each other, talking to each other, you guys are gonna have trouble fixing things or going through challenges or getting through difficult times. Simply put, the second most important component for a union, for a couple to be happy, is a love language. You guys' love languages have to kind of sort of dance with each other or kind of be complementary with each other. And what am I trying to say with love languages? Well, the 5 different love languages is acts of service, touch, physical touch, gifts, quality time, and which one am I forgetting? And compliments. Last but not least, compliments. So those are the different 5 acts of services. You both kind of sort of need to be able to know this about each other or kind of have complementary love languages, because that way, that's another way that your partner will feel fulfilled when you're giving them a lot of compliments or a lot of gifts, because that's his or her love language. And then vice versa, if the other partner feels like acts of services, cleaning the house or washing the dishes or being super lovey-dovey, like kissing or just like touching each other's hands a lot, for the other partner, for he or she, that translates to fulfillment and like, wow, he or she really cares for me. You guys both have to have complementary love languages, so that way you guys can both feel fulfilled, understood, and feel happy. It can be so easy that when 2 people have very opposite love languages, or 2 people are not aware of what makes the other person happy, they try to make them happy doing quality, like acts of services, but to the other person, physical touch is like their main love languages. So no matter how many acts of services this party does, the other person is going to be like, oh, why doesn't he hold my hand, or why doesn't he ever like come and just kiss me? And the other person over here will feel kind of unappreciated or disappointed, because hell, this person is cleaning the house or putting gas in your car, or like doing all these like little acts of services, simply put, you know. So it is very important for you, when you come into a relationship, to talk about this, or at least brush it over to a certain extent. And if it's very different, they kind of make each other aware of this. This one's not a deal breaker, in the sense that it's kind of easy to bring it up, and I feel like it's very easy to kind of sort of talk about it and be like, okay, this is what you like the most, then I can go ahead and put effort in that direction for the most part, you know? I have seen situations where it's like really hard for one party to all of a sudden, well, okay, so her love language is gifts. My love language is giving her compliments. And it's like, okay, like, what kind of person is she? Is she a gold digger? Well, no, it's not that she's a gold digger. It's just for her gifts is her main love language, you know? And it could be anything. It could be flowers. It could be like a cookie. Like, when a person's love language is gifts, it literally could be actual expensive things, or it could be non-expensive things. It's just, for that given person, that's what it is, you know? So it's kind of like, you got to think outside the box, or just move in that direction if you want to, of course, if you like want to make it work and be happy. So this one's kind of simple, but it can get you into a lot of trouble, a bit of a pickle kind of sort of situation, if you don't at least are aware of it, you know, unless both parties are sort of at least aware to an extent what you guys' love languages is. This is a simple one, but can cause a lot of problems if you guys are like completely like in a different planet about it. Last but not least, a space for growth. Space for growth, in my opinion, is the 3rd most important component for a happy relationship, because what I've noticed the most, marriages, people that have been together for 10, 20, 30 years, even 40 years, is that they continue to grow as people. They continue to challenge each other and become better people and better persons as individuals, but also to each other in the relationship. You know, they continue to be innovative and be creative. And, you know, when someone's been together with someone else for 20 years, you kind of have to start getting creative when it comes to dates and like other aspects of the relationship. At the beginning, little things can be like a deal breaker, you know? So space for growth is literally the answer for keeping people together long term and also being happy. Because it's kind of like, if you're not growing as a person, you end up feeling stuck, or you end up feeling unfulfilled. it's the same as when you're in a relationship. If you guys are just, you guys can be complacent, you guys can be happy, but if you guys aren't growing together as a couple, you guys will eventually fall out of love, get bored, and feel very neutral, just like, you know. So this is very case-to-case basis what growth looks like, or what having space for growth is. But you know, it can be everything from like not being so controlling, being open to changes, being open to doing things differently, or at the beginning, let's say you're used to like dating a certain type of person, that you meet someone else and this person is very different or very emotional, and you're not used to necessarily dating the emotional type. Well, as long as it's healthy, as long as like, because I would never be like, yeah, stay in an abusive relationship, you know. All these things have its deal breakers, of course, but like a space for growth would look like in that situation would be like, okay, well, you're very emotional, I'm not used to dealing with that, but I'm open-minded and I'm willing to work with it, and I'm willing to kind of like maybe try to be more catering to your emotions, and even me talk about it a little bit more. Now, I'm not very emotional, so what are you going to do for me? Well, for the other party would be like, okay, I know I can be very like, anything makes me cry, or I can like, something can like make me very upset. All right, I'm going to work on trying to be more balanced with my emotions and trying to be less reactive to things, you know? So that would be kind of like a way where at the beginning, when two people start dating, one is going to try to, once again, pull back a little bit in regards to anything. In this specific case, we're talking about emotions or being very sensitive. And the other person is trying to like pull a little bit, go a little bit more forward with this person and do things that maybe he or she's not normally used to, you know. Talk about how he's feeling, or what his emotions are like, or try to be more catering. Okay, babe, you're crying, this and that. Let me hold you, let me be here for you. You know, it's basically pull back and pull forward. That's what like growth would look like at a new relationship. You know, I mean, these things can happen at any moment. It's just, that's really case-to-case basis. But that's basically it, guys. Those are the 3 most important components that I honestly, genuinely believe is what keeps people happy, fulfilled, balanced, and make commitments, unions, relationships, marriages last long term. If you like this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. If you have any opinion on anything that I said on this video, if you completely disagree with me, anything, just anything I gotta say, put it down in the comments down below. And thanks for watching.